Krishna devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Guru Maharaj and Sri Prabhupada. And Kiran Prabhuji, when are you ready, you can start, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Krishna Prabhu, yeah, Kiran Prabhuji is not there on the call.
I think I see somebody, Kiran's 21 plus, S21 plus. I don't know whether it's he or not.
Kiran Prabhuji, are you on the call, Prabhuji?
Yes, Prabhuji. Just now I joined. I was having an issue with.
Please go ahead, Prabhuji. Then, yeah.
Just opening the file, Prabhuji.
Sure, Prabhuji.
So 56 chapter. Thank you, Prabhuji, for giving me this opportunity. Hare Krishna devotees, please accept my humble obeisances to all the people who joined this Zoom call. All the glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. So today I will be reading Bhagavatam's sloka translations from the chapter 56, the Samantaka jewel. So before that, let me do quick prayers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudhairayat Udairayat नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवते उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकीम् नमः ओम विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमती भक्तिवेदांता स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषे शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैता गदाधरा श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So today we are reading from the chapter 56, the Samantaka as well, starting from the sloka 1. Sukhdev Goswami said, having offended Lord Krishna, Satyajit tried as best he could to atone by presenting him with his daughter and Samantaka jewel. Sloka 2, Maharaj Parikshit inquired, O Brahmana, what did King Satyajit do to offend Lord Krishna? Where did he get the Samantaka jewel? And why did he give his daughter to the Supreme Lord? Then Sloka 3, Sukhdev Goswami replied and said, Surya, the sun god, felt great affection for his devotee Satyajit. Acting as his greatest friend, the demigod gave him the jewel called Shamantaka as a token of his satisfaction. Sloka 4. Wearing the jewel on his neck, Satyajit entered Dwarka. He shone as brilliantly as the sun itself, O king, and thus he went unrecognized because of the jewel's effulgence. Sloka 5. As the people looked at Satyajit from a distance, his brilliance blinded them. They presumed he was the sun god Surya and went to tell Lord Krishna, who was at that time playing at dice. The sloka 6 continues. The residents of Dwarka said, obeisances unto you, O Narayana, O holder of the conch, disc and club, O lotus-eyed Damodara, O Govinda, O cherished descendant of Yadu. Sloka 7. Lord Savita has come to see you. O Lord of the universe, he is blinding everyone's eyes with his intensely effulgent rays. Sloka 8. The most exalted demigods in the three worlds are certainly anxious to seek you out. O Lord, now that you have hidden yourself among the Edu dynasty, thus the unborn sun god has come to see you here. Sloka 9. Sukdev Goswami continued. Hearing these innocent words, the lotus-eyed Lord smiled broadly and said, "This is not the sun god, Ravi, but rather Satrajit, who is glowing because of his jewel." Sloka 10. The king Satrajit entered his opulent home, festively executing auspicious rituals. He had qualified Brahmanas, installed the Samantaka jewel in the house temple room, temple room. Sloka 11. Each day the gem would produce 8 baras of gold, my dear Prabhu, and the place in which it was kept and properly worshipped would be free of calamities such as famine and untimely death, and also of evils like snake bites, mental and physical disorders, and the presence of deceitful persons. Sloka 12. On one occasion, Lord Krishna requested Satrajit to give the jewel to the Edu king, Ugrasena. But Satrajit was so greedy that he refused. He gave no thought to the seriousness of the offense he committed by denying the Lord's request. Sloka 13. Once Satrajit's brother Prasena, having hugged the brilliant jewel about his neck, mounted a horse and went hunting in the forest. Sloka 14. A lion killed Prasena and his horse and took the jewel. But when the lion entered a mountain cave, he was killed by Jambavan, who wanted the jewel. Sloka 15. Within the cave, Jambavan let his young son have the Shamantaka jewel as a toy to play with. Meanwhile, Satrajit, not seeing his brother's return, became deeply troubled. Sloka 16. He said, Krishna probably killed my brother who went to the forest wearing the jewel on his neck. The general populace heard this accusation and began whispering it in one another's ears. So, Sloka 17. When Lord Krishna heard this rumor, he wanted to remove the stain on his reputation. So, he took some of the Dwaraka citizens with him and set out to retrace Prasena's path. So, in Sloka 18, in the forest, they found Prasena and his horse both killed by the lion. Further on, they found the lion dead on the mountainside, slain by Raksha or Jambavan. Sloka 19. The Lord stationed his subjects outside the terrifying, pitch dark cave of the king of the bears, and then he entered alone. Sloka 20. The Lord Krishna saw that the most precious of jewels had been made into a child's plaything. Determined to take it away, he approached the child. Sloka 21. The child nurse carried out in fear upon seeing that extraordinary person standing before them. Jambavan, strongest of the strong, heard her cries and angrily ran toward the Lord. And Sloka 22. Unaware of his true position and thinking him an ordinary man, Jambavan angrily began fighting with the Supreme Lord, his master. I think this is the end of the today's Sloka 22nd. And Krishna Venu Prabhu will be giving the overview for these slokas which I have read. Please take our call, Prabhuji. Thank you very much for listening. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Kiran Prabhuji, for reading today's Bhagavatam section slokas translations. And thank you all for joining this morning Bhagavatam session. And thank you, Sundarananda Prabhu, for giving this opportunity to share few points from the today's purports for my own purification. So I'll start with prayers. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादि पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। So today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, chapter 56, the Samantaka jewel. So it's also called as Samantakopakyanam. So it's a wonderful pastime, many lessons to learn. Just to give a background, so Sukadeva Goswami is narrating how Krishna married many princes and got many wives. So in the last two chapters we heard how Krishna married Rukmini by kidnapping from their place, and then we also heard, continuing that, the last chapter we heard how Mother Rukmini and Krishna got this wonderful son Pradyumna, and how he was kidnapped by this demon Simbara, and then we heard later how Pradyumna was saved and raised by his own wife Rati, who is Mayavati, and how he killed Sambara and then returned home with his wife, like that. Then Sukadeva Goswami wanted to continue with Krishna's marriage with other wives, other princess. So here, so we will see in this chapter, very high level, how Krishna recovered this Samantaka jewel to remove the false accusation that happened on him, and then married the daughters of Jambavan and Satrajit. So it's a wonderful pastime. So we'll start with sloka 1. So here we see that Sukadeva Goswami started narrating this Samanta Upakyanam. So beautiful pastime, which led this pastime, Krishna's marriage with both Jambavati and Satyabhama. So here we see that Satrajit, so he offended Krishna due to the greed of the gold that is produced by Samantaka jewel every day. So we'll hear how how this Satrajit got the Samantaka jewel, and when Krishna asked why did he refuse like that. So and later also we hear how he atoned by presenting him with his daughter and Samantaka jewel also to Krishna. So this is also a wonderful lesson, so that a practicing devotee may offend other devotees due to the anarthas that we have. Especially I am talking to myself, but we have to try as best as we can to atone our offenses at the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord Krishna or his devotees as best as we can. How here we see the Satrajit did. Similarly, we have to do like that. And then in the second sloka, we see that here Maharaj Parikshit is very eager to hear the pastime of this Samantaka jewel. So he is asking Sukadeva Goswami about Satrajita kim akarod. So what offense this Satrajit did at the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord Krishna, and he is asking where did he got the Samantaka jewel, and why did he give his daughter to the Supreme Lords. We see that Maharaj Parikshit, who is listening very attentively, so eager to hear Krishna's pastimes. So this is one thing that we also can develop to have this eagerness to listen Krishna Katha, or to perform spiritual activities, Krishna conscious activities, like that. So here we see that King Satrajit is also greedy, and Parikshit Maharaj is also greedy, but there is a great difference. So Parikshit Maharaj is greedy for listening Krishna Katha, so he has a laulyam. So, and King Satrajit is greedy for material things, which where the Samantaka jewel is producing lot of gold. So he's greedy of that. So that's why he refused when Krishna asked to give that Samantaka jewel to the King Ugrasena, like that. So, but one greediness, the spiritual greediness, laulyam, it will help us to go back home, back to Godhead, or it will develop our Krishna prema. So, where we will get unlimited blissfulness. But the other greediness, it will push us into the more suffering, because that greediness for the material things, so that will push us more suffering. So which we will see also that due to his greediness, how his brother was killed, and then he went through so much humiliation. Of course, later he atoned. So that's why the anarthas what we have should be diverted in Krishna consciousness. If we have a greediness, we have to have that greediness for listening Krishna Katha. So that the greediness, the anartha of greedy will be purified. So in the next sloka, we see that Sukadeva Goswami is starting this beautiful pastime narrating to Parikshit Maharaj. So here we see that this Satrajit, so he seems to be the devotee of the sun god. So sun god being satisfied his devotion, so he great affection for his devotee. So what he did is he gave him the jewel called Samantaka as a token for his satisfaction. So of course we see later Satrajit not only worshipped the sun god, but he also worshipped Samantaka jewel, because it's giving gold every day. So generally it is also mentioned in Bhagavad Gita, right? So the worshippers of the demigods looking for some material benedictions. And Krishna mentions in Bhagavad Gita that antavantu tu phalam tesham tad bhavate alpamedesham. So that's why they are also mentioned as alpamedesham, so less intelligence. So they worship demigods, because whatever the benedictions that they receive from the demigods, it's limited and temporary. So on top of that, the power of demigods to benedict their devotees, their worshippers, also come from Krishna only. So that's why it is mentioned here. The worship of demigods is less intelligence. Not that it is demigods are lesser, are looking at down like that. So they are also great devotees. But the worship of demigods, instead of that, so it is recommended to worship Krishna. Because whether you have material desires, or you have no desires, or you have a desire for liberation, if you worship Krishna, so then all our anarthas will be purified, and we will develop Krishna prema. So on top of that, here Satrajat is worshipping the sun god, and that power is coming from Krishna only. So in Brahma Samhita we also hear Lord Brahma offers beautiful prayers to Supreme Lord Krishna. In that he says that Yachakshoyesa Savita Sakala Grahanam Raja Samasta Suramurti Rasesha Teja Yasyajnaya Brahmati Sambrata Kala Chakro Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. So in that it is mentioned that the sun god, so he rotates or he gets immense power from Supreme Lord Krishna, and on his order he rotates, he traverses its orbit, and his due to the immense power that he gets, he is the chief among all planet system, and also is considered as the eye of the Supreme Lord. So, but all that immense power is coming from Krishna. So that's why. So here we suggest, it is suggested to worship directly Supreme Lord. So because the power is also coming from Supreme Lord, why not worship directly to Supreme Lord? So that's why it is mentioned in the scriptures that the person who has perfect intelligence, so they will directly worship Krishna, especially in this Kali Yuga, through the Sankirtana process. Agne Sankirtana prayer yajantihi sumedasaha. So the perfect intelligent persons, so they will worship Krishna through this process of congregational chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. So if we can take advantage of this simple process of chanting Hare Krishna, then our life will be successful. Of course, I am talking to myself. And then we hear next sloka, Satrajit uh, wearing this jewel. So he entered Dwarka and he shone as brightly as the sun himself, Yatha Ravi. And then so he went unrecognized because of the jewel's effulgence. Because Satrajit was known to many people in Dwarka, but because he had this Samantaka jewel on his body, on his neck, so due to that brightness, effulgence, people could not recognize. So that's why we see here that people looked at Satrajit from distance and his brilliance blinded them. And then they assumed that sun god Surya. So they went tell to Krishna, and Krishna at that time what he was doing? He was playing dice, Divyate Akshayir, like that. And then the residents of Dwarka, so they went to Supreme Lord Krishna and they offering prayers. O Narayana, O holder of the conch, disc and club, O lotus-eyed Damodara, O Govinda, O cherished descent of Yadu. So very nice, wonderful sloka, am I right? Narayana namastastu Senkachakra Gadadhara Damodara Ravindaksha Govinda Yadunandana. So like that, the beautiful prayers that these residents of Dwarka are offering to the Supreme Lord Krishna. And Srila Prabhupada gives a very wonderful commentary on this about this in the Krishna book, elaborating these wonderful names. So, so when you get a chance, you can read that. So it's very wonderful. And here Prabhupada also mentioned that the citizens of Dwarka, they know that Supreme Lord Krishna, Krishna is the Supreme Lord. So, and then that's why here we say that the Dwarka citizens are saying that Lord Savita has come to see you. He is blinding everyone's eyes with his intensely effulgent rays. So they thought this Satrajit as the Lord Savita or sun god, so Ravi. So but they thought his effulgence is blinding, but it is actually Satrajit. And here we see that the residents of Dwarka, they are mentioning that the most exalted demigods in the three worlds, certainly anxious to seek you out, because now you have hidden yourself among the Yadu dynasty. So they knew that Krishna is the Supreme Lord. And they also know that sometimes these demigods comes and visit Krishna. So when Satrajit visiting the city of Dwarka, all the inhabitants except Krishna, they thought he is sun god himself. But of course Krishna knows everything. So he understand it is not sun god, it is Satrajit. And then in the next sloka, so is it Sukadeva Goswami is telling, see, hearing these innocent words, and Krishna smiled broadly and said, this is not the sun god. Rather it is Satrajit, who is glowing because of his jewel, like that. And Prabhupada mentions in the Krishna book that this Satrajit, so he came to Dwarka. One reason is to show his opulence, that he got this valuable jewel from the sun god and he wanted to exhibit it. So generally this is the tendency of a conditioned living entity in this material world, am I right? So when we had some opulence, whether it could be wealth or name, fame or position, so usually they become proud. So they become proud and they wanted to show it. So sometimes in this process they may offend also others by treating them inappropriately. So, and due to this offense and due to this anardhas, the proudness or something, greediness, so Mother Kunti says that so they will not have, they will not be able to progress in the path of bhakti, or they will not have Krishna consciousness rise in their heart. Janma Ishwarya Sruta Shribir Edamanaha Madam Puman. So who are like, trying to progress in the material path, so they will not have that sincere feelings to approach Supreme Lord Krishna. So, so the devotees who are progressed or who are elevated, who are advanced, So they are very humble even if they have great opulence, because they don't use that opulence for themselves. So they use it in Krishna consciousness, or the service of the Krishna and devotees. So in the next slokas, so we see that King Satrajit, so he entered his opulent home, Srimad. So of course he has a lot of money, so he has a great home, and festivity, executing auspicious rituals. So he had a qualified brahmanas and installed Samantka jewel in the house of a temple room. So, so he started worshipping the Samantka jewel also. And we here we see that how much it is producing. So every day this Jamantika jewel produces 8 bharas of gold. Of course, each bhara, in the purport it has given, the 3,700 grains of rice is an ounce, and this 8 bharas is equivalent to 170 pounds of gold every day. So this Satrajit is getting through this Samantika jewel, so 170 pounds of gold every day, like that. And not only that, having this Samantika jewel also had some material benefits, like they are free of calamities and untimely death, and also evil like snake bites, mental physical disorders, and presence of disreputable persons, like that. So there are so many material benefits also with this, but unless we engage ourselves in the Krishna consciousness, so it says that Shrama eva hi kevalam. So anything that we have are not much useful, like that. So in the next sloka, we see that one time Krishna requested Satrajit to give this jewel to Edu king Ugrasena. But Satrajit was so greedy that he refused it. So, and he gave no thought. So he didn't think what kind of offense he is committing by denying this request. So here we see that the powerful influence of any anartha, whether it could be greedy or pride or anger or whatever it is. So when the anartha is influence us, so we commit offenses. So here we see that Satrajit committed offense at the lotus feet of Krishna due to the greed. But in the earlier also we saw that when Indra was proud of his position, he offended Krishna and tried to annihilate his Vrindavan and the Vrajavasis. Of course, Govardhana, Krishna lifts Govardhana and protects all of them. And here we see that Krishna didn't ask for himself also. So he told that give this jewel to Ugrasena, because that is the best way of utilizing the opulence, like that. But he refused it, and due to that he committed an offense. And then we see that one time this Satrajit brother Prasena, so he wore this brilliant jewel, and then he went to forest to hunt, so mounting on a forest. And then in the purport it is mentioned that so the inauspicious result of Satrajit refusal to Lord Krishna, this is going to come in the upcoming slokas. So what happens? So here we see that in the next sloka, so his brother Prasena, he was killed by a lion, and then the lion took the jewel. But when the lion entered into a mountain, so he was killed by Jambavan, because Jambavan also wanted this jewel, not for himself. So he saw that this jewel can be used as a toy for his young son. So that's what we see in the next sloka. So within the cave, Jambavan, so he gave it to his young son, who was playing as a toy. So he is using this Samantika jewel as a toy. And of course, meanwhile, we see that Satrajit, he didn't see his brother return from the hunting, and then he thought that so initially he was feeling very unhappy. Then he did a great offense. Here he is saying that so Krishna probably killed my brother, because Krishna asked earlier to give this Samantika jewel to the Ugrasena. Since he didn't give, so he thought that he killed his brother and took the Samantika jewel. So then this when there is some bad rumor comes, usually it will quickly distributes or spread over. So the general populace heard this occasion and began whispering in one another's ear like that. Of course, there is a one beautiful pastime also in the scriptures. Why Krishna had to have this false accusation? Of course, Krishna arranged this beautiful pastime. There is a connection to this pastime to the appearance of Lord Ganesha. The Ganesh Chaturdasi. So we hear this pastime. Many of you probably know that. So one of the Ganesh Chaturdasi, the appearance, birthday of Lord Ganesh, appearance of Lord Ganesha. So he had taken many sweets, just giving the pastime very short. So and he after eating so many sweets, he went to his parents, Mother Parvati and Lord Shiva. So he wanted to offer his obeisances, but he had some challenge because he had a big stomach, so heavy stomach. And the moon god, he laughed, and Mother Parvati didn't like that, and she cursed that anyone sees moon, they will get into trouble. They will have the false accusation. So of course, every day many people see moon god. So people are going through this false accusation or troubles. So they all prayed Mother Parvati to see if she can do something. And Mother Parvati, being merciful, she reduced that curse, saying that only whoever sees moon god on the Ganesh Chaturdasi, so they will get this false accusation or challenges. Of course, on one of the Ganesh Chaturdasi, Lord Krishna, who likes to drink milk, so he goes out to milk a cow. And while milking, so he saw the moon reflection in the milk bowl. So then he understand that some false accusation comes. Of course, we see that this false accusation came of stealing Samantaka jewel. And then we also hear that how Krishna cleared this false accusation. So in the upcoming slokas. So then later many great personalities, they approach Supreme Lord Krishna, says that you are the Supreme Lord, so that's why you could able to clear this false accusation. But what about the ordinary living entities? Then Krishna gives benediction that whoever hears this Samantaka jewel pastime on the Ganesh Chaturdasi day, they will not get into any troubles. They will not get any false accusation. So we see that Krishna performed this beautiful pastime, so to help all the conditioned living entities, so to come out from the danger of seeing moon on that day. So just by hearing Krishna Katha. And also they will get some spiritual credit also, so that their Krishna conscious journey will progress or it will start like that. So any pastime we see that Krishna performs, there is a great deeper meaning, and it is all for the benefit of the living entities, conditioned living entities in this material world. So in the next sloka we see that so he wanted to remove this reputation, so he took some Dwarka citizens to set out to retrace Prasyana's path. So in the next sloka we see that so when they went to the forest, they saw the Prasyana was dead and killed by the lion, and also the lion was also killed on the mountain side by the Ruksha, Jambavan. So Jambavan. And then what Lord did is, so he asked his whoever is came along with him. So he told them to stay outside because the cave is very terrifying and pitch dark. So he only entered into the cave, so where this Jambavan is living. So then we see that Lord Krishna, when he entered into the cave, he saw this most precious jewel that had been made into the child's plaything. Because Jambavan gave this Samantaka jewel to his young son as a play toy. And then Krishna wanted to take this because he wanted to clear out the false accusation, so that he wanted to take and then give it back to the Satrajit. And then we see that the child's nurse cried out in fear upon seeing this extraordinary person, Supreme Lord Krishna, standing there. and then she cried out. Then Jambavan heard this and angrily ran toward the Lord. So then we see that Jambavan, not knowing that Krishna is the Supreme Lord, thinking him an ordinary person, so he angrily began fighting with the Supreme Lord and his master only. So we hear this pastime also, am I right? Jambavan is one of the close associate of Lord Ramchandra in Treta Yuga. So he helped, he assisted Lord Ramchandra in the war between Lord Ramchandra and Ravanasura. And Lord Ramchandra was very pleased with all these soldiers, monkey soldiers, and also the Jambavan. So Lord Ramchandra offered a boon at that time to this Jambavan for his great service. And Jambavan, knowing that he has a great strength, he has a desire to have a fight with the Supreme Lord Ramchandra. And Jambavan asked as a boon to have a fight with him. And of course, Supreme Lord Ramchandra, he smiled and he granted that boon, saying that so this boon will be fulfilled, or his wish will be fulfilled in the next incarnation. So that's why when Krishna came, Lord Ramchandra appears as a Supreme Lord Krishna in his original form. So this desire of Jambavan is fulfilled. So here, so Jambavan, there is a great fight between Jambavan and Supreme Lord Krishna, so who is his own master. And in the purport also it is mentioned that Jambavan mistaked that Krishna as an ordinary man. Of course, later he realizes. So similarly, in this material world also, many so-called Vedic scholars also misunderstand Krishna as an ordinary person. In fact, they also write literatures according to their understanding that Krishna is an ordinary personality. So that's why it is very important for a practicing devotee to read the books that are written by the devotees who are coming in the bona fide Guru Parampara. So that's why we should read only Srila Prabhupada's books or our acharyas that are coming in Guru Parampara. So how this Jambavan has misunderstood. Similarly, if we read other books, then we'll also misunderstand. So, but Jambavan realized that Krishna is the not ordinary person. He is a Purushottama, the ultimate transcendental person, like that. So there are many lessons in this section that we see that that are very helpful for a sadhaka to be inspired and to learn what can be done and what not to be done, so that their Krishna conscious journey can progress smoothly. So I'll pause it here. Thank you. I took little more time than standard time. I apologize for that. Thank you all for joining. Grandhara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Anta Koti Vaishnava Vranda ki jai.
Jai. So well said, Prabhu. That story was amazing about Ganesh.
Thank you. We're just repeating.
Hare
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Krishna Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.